In this video, I will show you how the Hulk frame will make your Anet A8 sturdier and able to print faster. Come and join me. Hello, my name is Daniel. Welcome to the Crosslink channel. I would like to help you being more successful with 3D printing, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Today we are implementing the Hulk frame to the Anet A8 3D printer. You can see here that I already printed some so-called T-brackets that are supposed to improve the frame stability and reduce wobbling of the X-axis. Well, in fact that is not very effective, as I have learned from several tests, and you can see it here. It's still quite easy to push the frame left and right and will wobble. So let's get rid of these brackets and apply some real stability upgrade to this printer frame, the so-called Hulk frame. So how is this frame now better than the T-braces? Because it really braces into the Anet frame and makes it much sturdier, especially when you print higher parts. It uses the wobbling in the X direction. The frame parts are available on Thingiverse, link is in the description. They have been created by Leo again. So I want to give Leo a big shout out here because he pointed me to a few things about what to do better in my videos and what upgrades make sense and what don't. Specifically, it was the video about my 5 favorite printable upgrades. And if you've seen that video, I've included 2 upgrades, which are specifically these lead screw caps and also these frame braces. And he says in the comment, if as seen in your video, by fixating the top of the lead screws with so-called anti-wobble caps, these ones, the lead screw is turned into a guide. Now we have 2 guides counteracting forces with each other, and the more bent each of them are, the more force is acting on both of them, which we definitely don't want having, because the guide bars are no longer solely guiding the carriage assembly by themselves. Therefore, it's strongly recommended you remove those caps. The top of the lead screws must move freely. The wobbling has absolutely no effect on print quality. PS, the T-corner frame braces have hardly no function at all. The frame will still move in the upper region, so he's talking about these braces. The screws on the frame will still loosen over time, and to add insult to injury, the frame will get scratched by the T-corner over time due to constant movement. There are much better solutions on Thingiverse to make the printer much more stable in the upper region. So, and we did some back and forth commenting on this topic, and I asked him specifically what can you recommend in terms of frame stability, and he said, yeah, clearly I created this Hulk frame, you should try it out. So as a result of the discussion with Leo, I decided to remove the T-braces and the lead screw caps and install Leo's Hulk frame, and also I will create a new video with my top upgrades in 2019 very soon. Also the 2 frame braces in the bottom of this printer have been designed by Leo, so just give him some more credit he deserves. Let's start with the list of parts we need. All the required screws, washers and nuts should come already as spare parts with your printer. We will need 2 M3x18 screws, 2 M3x24, 2 M3x12 screws and 4 M3 nuts. So let's start with installing the printed parts. This is actually pretty straightforward. We start with the vertical arms, and they will be hooked into the frame at the top and into the bottom support parts on the other end. The bottom supports get fixed to the frame using 2 screws each. 1 screw is an existing frame screw that we need to remove first, then fix the frame part again with this screw. The second one is going to be fixed with a nut on the other side, and especially here on the right side where the power supply resists, we need to use a shorter screw, otherwise we might touch the power supply with the end of the screw. So the last step is really to use the long screws, the 24mm screws, and put them into the frame from the inside through the arm and then through the M3 nut that is at the low end of the arm, and then start tensioning the whole frame until you have the feeling that it's very stiff. Don't overdo that, because otherwise the frame might start warping and then start wobbling on the table. So that's the point where you really should go a little bit back until you have the feeling, okay, the whole frame is really standing flat on the table and still is stiff. And that's the point that you want to reach with the tensioning. So let's put this together and start doing some benchy tests and also some larger parts to see how stability has improved to reduce the wobbling. So I decided to start with some benchies, and I have the original benchy here, which was printed in the beginning where I assembled the printer, and I did a first benchy here, which is this one, which has been printed at the same speed and the same settings than the first one, and there's literally no difference in quality. Well, this was somehow expected because 60 millimeters per second is the normal speed, and that doesn't really cause big issues with vibrations on the frame. So it's the default speed, and that was expected. And then I decided to do two other benchies at higher speeds and higher acceleration. So the first one was printed at 120 millimeters per second, and what we can see here is that it already has some visible quality reduction. It's not bad, but it's also already noticeable, especially in the Y direction, interestingly. And that leads, of course, to the question, though, why is there a difference? Well, the X direction probably is a little bit more stable now, but the Y direction, there I don't expect any change because of this frame. And that could be caused by other issues, so we'll talk about that in a moment. And then I printed a third one, a third benchy at 180 millimeters per second and triple the acceleration. So I went to 1600, and the other one I've printed with 800 in acceleration value. So this one with the 180 millimeter per second is really noticeably worse. It has definitely more ripples and visible distortions on the surface. In the Y direction, there seems to be issues, and we can fix that with some upgrades that are definitely something for another video. So we could install other belts, we could install the GT2 belt, we could install belt tensioners and make this whole thing stiffer and hopefully reduce the amount of vibrations. We could also try to install TL smoothers on the board, which is clearly a topic also for a video to show is there a difference. But I mean, what we actually wanted to know is how about higher parts? And so I've tested out higher parts here. I tested 3 prints at different speeds and at 60, 120 and 180 millimeters per second. And all 3 parts came out the same. Obviously it's a very small part, so there's no huge difference in terms of acceleration. So the printer has not the time to accelerate to a very high speed because the frame is very small in diameter. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, which is very visible and very noticeable, the X direction has no issues with wobbling, which is good. And that also shows, okay, the X stability in this direction is very good, also because of the frame, but the Y stability has some issues. And here on the Y axis, there is some ripples, or you could call it even waves. They are, you can feel them. It's probably not visible, and so that means because of these ripples showing up on every height, we definitely have an issue with the Y movement, and the Y movement is somehow affected by something in the belt drive, and it has nothing to do how high you actually print. So overall, we can say the frame stability using the Hulk frame has probably improved in the X direction. On the other hand, we still have issues on the Y axis, probably not caused by frame instabilities. I'm not entirely happy, but this is really complaining at a very high level. The stability of the frame is obviously not comparable to the Ender 3, So I really see the advantage of a metal frame, and this is something that I really want to try in one of the following videos. To be more specific, I will not build an AM8, but this is going to be something a little more special. So stay tuned for something really amazing. That's it for today. If you appreciate this video, please smash the like button, consider subscribing to my channel to support me creating new content for you, and hit the bell notification icon if you want to get notified every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one, bye bye!